On this build, I really wanted to use authentic World War II aircraft parts. So the logical place is to dig through the boneyard at the CAF. I wanted to take my daughter Hunter out to this field trip so she'd have a good understanding of how this project began and what it's all about.
And I didn't really have any idea what I was looking for. I knew that I would know it when I saw it, but I had no idea what I was looking for. It almost has a shape of the P-51 Mustang wing. Look at that. That's kind of the tip of it. There's the cockpit, babe. Wow. Look at that. Hey, we're just looking through some of this stuff. Is there any of this stuff that we can incorporate into the bike?
We got this old air scoop. That was off of the 4360.
Hey, look at this. So you guys, I could actually have something like this to work with?
Because this was beyond where we have a piece that's already restored for it, and it was just going to be used on a static display.
It was a crushed piece off of a bomber, but it had the shape. You know, that scoop on the P-51 Mustang, it had that shape to it.
But the P-51 has almost this exact, you know, identical shape to that scoop underneath it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, you know, bring this into your bike and add it onto that, I mean, this is just almost like, you know, restoring it back, you know, on one of our aircraft and bringing it back to one of your, you know, P-51 bikes.
Yeah, well, I would really love to take this.
I knew when I saw it, I'm like, man, that's it. That piece, I can salvage that, and I can put it together to, you know, emulate the scoop on the P-51 Mustang, and it's actually an air scoop off of a bomber.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
We'll make good use of it and obviously do something that's going to honor this piece that you've given us.
Great, great.
You know, a 70-year-old piece of aluminum that flew in the war that is a focal point of this motorcycle.
My influence on the P-51, one of the major pieces of it is the scoop that's underneath the belly. I mean, everybody identifies with that. So when I saw this laying there and they were going to scrap it, I had to have it. The same shape that was used on the P-51, the edges look just almost like that. So I think I can take and slice the middle out, bring them together. Holy! Instead of me manufacturing or, you know, fabbing that out of a piece of aluminum, oh my God! To actually use the pieces that were tooled,
Scrap that idea.
70 years ago.
That was a good one.
To go on there, I think that authenticates this motorcycle.
The wheel design, you know, was the inspiration was the propeller on the airplane. I mean, it just was such a cool look with the twist in it and everything. I just wanted to get that across on this bike, and propeller blade wheels, I thought, was the ultimate way to include a propeller without sticking one on the front of the bike. The only people that really do that well was my friend Greg over at Eagle Trip. The thing that makes Eagle Trip so good at doing the wheel designs is they really get out of the box, you know, with the 3D design.
You can see that it's actually projecting up above the spoke of the wheel.
The first part of typically we take a flat piece of sheet metal and form a gas tank. But that tank already fit that bike, it already fit the frame, it already mounted up. And with the time constraints we had, we just modified that tank.
We stretch that, it's gonna look like a wing, you know, the shape of an airfoil. Just sexy. Airplanes are sexy, motorcycles are sexy, and they kind of go hand in hand. That feel of an airfoil, you know, that creates lift and makes this thing fly. So here we are, creating this sexy line that comes back into the
Hey! What? Easy, man. Cause the spark's gonna blow the whole place up.
And there was no reason to take the time to fabricate a tank from ground, you know, from a flat piece of sheet metal.
One of the pieces that I'm starting on here that's very predominant on that P51 Mustang is the exhaust. And it's got to be just right. I mean, the exhaust has to be perfect. We're going to attach it to the side of the gas tank to where it actually looks like it's coming out of the gas tank. Technically, it has to be perfect.
See, we go shorter, tighter, a little bit cleaner, still pull off the same thing.
Now that looks like the exhaust off the P51. It's perfect.
The gas tank on a motorcycle really gives it its identity. So stretching that tank and making it more dynamic, adding exhaust to it, that really made that tank say Gunfighter. The vision for the paint job on this was just to flow from front to back the same as the paint job does on the airplane.
And the only person that can pull these projects off on short notice is JC over at AJ Customs. When we brought this project to JC, you know, he said Crash is the perfect guy for this. He loves doing this kind of stuff.
In the side view, we get the spinner going right into the checkers. There's the exhaust. We've got the stripe coming down it there. Gunfighter underneath here. You know, Gunfighter can go. You know, I don't know if you want it to go off of it under a little bit or.
I'm gonna run it parallel along with the exhaust as you know, straight as I can right here. Since I've already got the red on there, we can lay some of the vinyl bombs down on the red right there before he puts down the silver.
Just like the gas tank gives the motorcycle identity, the nose art on the side of aircraft gave that airplane or that squadron identity. So when we built this bike, we wanted to have an original piece of nose art for ourselves.
It's cool to watch it come to life. And I don't get to see this process. I mean, this gets handed off, we get it handed back, and now to be here during the process is pretty awesome privilege.
You know, the attention to detail on the paint was perfect because it had the rivets, it had the distressing, it had the kind of a weathered look to it, it had oil splatters, just like the airplane. Oil splatters on the airplane and it streaks down the side of it. And so all that stuff was incorporated into this paint job that gave it really a organic feel. You know, you believe that that's really the skin off of the aircraft. The goal on this bike build was being able to take authentic aircraft parts and that type of function and feel and put that into this motorcycle. The cockpit of the aircraft used to have the gauges and the switches and stuff like that. I wanted you to be able to actually flip that kind of switch to start the motorcycle like you would arm a switch in the aircraft. I wanted you to have the gauges that make you feel like you're in the cockpit of the aircraft.
I got a good idea on what we got to do. So all the brackets and stuff are going to have to be reworked. Perfect.
We also wanted you to have the feel of being in the cockpit. So you sit down in that fighter and you've got that small little window in front of you. So when you're on the bike, you feel like you're in the airplane. So you've got the gauges, you've got the switches, you've got that cockpit style window in the front of the thing that really gives you the form and function that feel like the aircraft. And then we wanted it to be very fast looking. This bike had to look fast sitting on the ground, just like the P-51 Mustang.
Anytime you're working on one of these pieces, you never really know if it's going to start.
Check's good. They wanted to do something really special for the 50th anniversary, and they wanted to have a big gala event in Las Vegas. And I mean, after we got finished, we packed it up and drove that day, got in like at midnight that night. That's where we were unveiling this bike at. And we really don't know if we hit the mark yet, right? You still don't have that validation until you get it in front of the folks that really matters. The response was unbelievable because most of the people didn't even know this was happening. So once we showed up with the bike, it just blew everyone away.
That's a 70-year-old piece of aluminum.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
You know, that's something that flew in the war.
The funny part about it is everybody knew that bike, what airplane it was. You know, because we didn't tell anybody what we were doing. We told no one what airplane we were building the bike after until we showed up in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace.
Isn't it fabulous?
And man, getting that validation from the CAF people to see that bike, it just, you know, it blew me away.
Nice job, yeah, beautiful.
When you hit a home run, when you connect with the baseball, you don't even have to look at it. You know it's a home run. That's what this whole project has been for me. I knew from the start, when everything started falling into place, that it was going to be a home run.
I just want to shake your hand. It's magnificent.
The Vegas unveiling was an amazing success. So we put it on display and it gets unveiled. And then after seeing the reaction of the CAF members, that was just put a stamp on it right there. I was like, all right, perfect.